What makes a filmmaker a filmmaker? Well, you know, I think the trick to being any filmmaker is you have to understand your product. I've been asked what is the best advice you can give to another filmmaker who's just starting out or making their first project. I would say to them, write the project you know that you can tell. Write the project you know you can tell. I don't want to ever tell a filmmaker not to write what they want to write, but for your first feature, I wouldn't, or short or anything, I wouldn't think of, you know, trying to make a super huge Hollywood budget film. Anything you do should be able to, I think, be expanded. But don't come out of the gate thinking you need to spend thousands of dollars, millions of dollars to make your first project. That's ridiculous. Write the story you know you can tell. Write it and adapt. You know, I'm this kind of person where I take really big ideas and I shove them into very small spaces. And I do it for a very, it's a creative tool. It's allowed me to be able to tell the stories that I want to tell, but within the space that I'm allowed to tell them. You know, I'm not a huge Hollywood major filmmaker. You know, I'm from Columbia, South Carolina, and I've lived here my whole life. And I, you know, started making movies only almost 5 years ago. So this evolution of how to make a film has grown and has expanded for me as well. You know, I'm just going to tell the story that I can within the limited space that I can. And that doesn't mean that I really constricted what I was going to say within that realm, but I just fit whatever I was going to say within that realm. One of the first steps, location scouting. What is the setting? When I know my setting, I know what I can do within that setting. 5 months start to finish, a whole feature film in conception done in 5 months. And I look back on that and I think, you know, I'm going, how the heck did we put that together? Because, you know, I had over 64 cast members and a 7-man crew. I'm talking about, you know, Prelude to Infusco. Prelude, it's a sci-fi drama filmed right here in Columbia, South Carolina, and literally, you know, we cast actors from 3 different states to be involved in the project, and, you know, got a local crew together, and we filmed it. What made that process so easy, or not, or simple? I won't say easy. It's never easy, but simple. And that was the fact that we did so much pre-production planning early. But even during that time, even during the writing stage, my team and I, you know, we were looking for locations, we were scouting, and I had to adapt the plot of the story to the specific locations that we could get. Talking to Michael Talbert and Faith Creech and John Trammell, who were close associates of mine for that project, and we was talking to them, and I was like, guys, you know, if we don't get this location, I gotta change the whole dynamic of the story. A crucial part of this story has to be told at this type of a location or something similar, or I don't think we can make it work. And, you know, we were very fortunate, and with the landlords and owners who granted us permission to use their properties to even make this film. So I would say, you know, you've got a story you can tell. You just have to learn how to put it into a space in which you can tell it. And that's going to make your process go so much smoother. It's going to make your time go so much smoother. The big issue and the dilemma of being an indie filmmaker, and you know, you make indie projects, and a lot of times you know, people work for you for free, or you work for free for a lot of other people. And I would say first step really there is, if you're going to make a film, make it. Dedicate yourself to it. and you better get it done. I'm not kidding, get it done. And I mean that with all love and sincerity. Get it done, because for me personally, I know I've worked on projects that have stretched out weeks, I've worked out projects that have stretched out months, and projects that have gone just a couple of days. And I've personally managed to make my projects go but a number of days, working with small casts and large casts, and I do that because I understand, and I really, you're an independent filmmaker, you have to value people's time. We all know what we're doing, and we all agree to do these projects, but if you're having people work for you for free, I always think you gotta be respectful of people's time. Make sure your team is knowledgeable in advance of everything that you're doing. Make sure your cast is knowledgeable in advance of everything that you guys have planned and how you're going to do it. Everyone has to be up to speed or it's not going to work. And you have to designate. If you say, we're going to stay on production time and we're going to get 8 scenes shot in a day, by God, you're going to do it. Well, I do it that way because I can't personally ask someone to spend months and months and months on board my project for no money, especially if you're an out-of-town actor or you're coming in. Granted, most of the actors that I have worked with or who have worked for me, I have a great relationship with these people, and I know that several of them, if not all of them, would come back and work for me again. But I don't bank on that. I don't bank on this person will always be available to me, because that's not why I'm doing this in the first place. I'm not making projects to go nowhere. I'm trying to do something so that eventually I don't have to work on this teeny tiny low scale budget. And that's what I think ultimately we're all trying to do. We're just trying to make a project and see it through start to finish and beyond. It's just always that risk. You're always at risk of, no matter how much work you put into a project, it may not go anywhere. And I don't personally want to think or tell anybody, don't think like that. Don't think like that. But you have to keep in mind, you're asking people to work for you. Time is important, so get it done. One of the fondest memories I have of working with my cast is, even though tension was so, we were so stressed to get everything done, we had fun, and it was a loving, very joyful and jovial set, and everyone just appreciated being there, and it made them that much more dedicated and that much more committed to doing their work well, if you know what I mean. Because if you have actors who come in who don't really care about your project, you don't want to work with them. I don't want to work with you. You don't want to work with me. It's just one of those things. Let's not work together. But if you come out of the gate knowing what you're doing, and you have your vision and you see it forward, and you don't even give it really a second thought. I never gave it a second thought that I couldn't do this. It was just, yeah, we're gonna do it. Okay, I'm gonna write the script, we're gonna cast it, and we're gonna film it. Boom. And it never occurred to me to think, it just, that thought never crossed my mind, and I don't want to, I just want to say, have that open attitude about your work. It's going to do well, and it's going to do what you need it to do. And that, I think, that attitude helps stimulate the attitudes around you, and people will trust in you that you know what you're doing, and that you put something forth, you set it in motion, and you don't stop until it's done.